Clint Eastwood just handed a burger back to the cashier, and what he said next shocked everyone in the restaurant. It was supposed to be a quiet stop, a small diner off Highway 1 with dusty windows and a broken jukebox humming in the background. But as Clint glanced at the man behind the counter, his eyes locked in disbelief. Wearing a grease-stained apron and barely hiding the exhaustion in his face was Jacob Rains, the ex-SpaceX engineer once known for designing launch modules for Mars missions. Now reduced to flipping burgers? Clint stared for a second longer, before walking up and saying, "Weren't you the guy they called the Rocket Whisperer?" Jacob gave a dry smile. Was. Until I told the truth about a system flaw they didn't want fixed. That's when Clint quietly pushed the burger back across the counter and said, "You're not staying here. Not after what you know." Jacob didn't believe Clint at first. "You don't know how deep it goes," he warned. But Clint had already made the call. Within 24 hours, they were inside a private hangar outside Los Angeles, surrounded by whiteboards, discarded blueprints, and a small team of independent engineers Clint had quietly funded for years. Jacob's hands trembled as he looked at the materials. These are specs I sketched on napkins 4 years ago." Clint just nodded. "And now we're going to build it without anyone telling us what we can't say." Jacob broke down. For the first time in years, someone wasn't trying to shut him up, they were listening. But just as they began mapping the new prototype, a black SUV pulled up outside. No plates, no sound, and a man in a dark suit stepped out with a folder in hand. What he said next would change everything Jacob thought he knew about why he was fired and who was really behind it. The man in the suit didn't waste time. He dropped the folder on the table and looked Jacob dead in the eyes. "You were never fired because of a system flaw," he said. "You were silenced because your discovery exposed more than you realized." Jacob's hands shook as he opened the folder. Inside were classified memos, internal emails, and one shocking image, an early satellite prototype repurposed for military surveillance, built using his designs. Jacob's voice cracked. "I never gave them permission for this." Clint stepped forward, calm but furious. "You built it to explore the stars and they used it to watch us." The room went silent. Then Jacob looked up, and something in his eyes changed. "No more silence, let's show the world what they buried." But as they prepared to go public, Clint got a message on his private line. 5 simple words that chilled him. "They know where you are." Clint immediately knew what that message meant. No media, no legal help, just shadow pressure from people who never leave fingerprints. He turned to Jacob. "You have one shot. Are you ready to risk everything?" Jacob nodded. They uploaded the files onto a secure server and scheduled a live stream for midnight. But minutes before it was set to go live, the entire building went dark. Power out. Backup systems failed. Then, in the shadows, they heard footsteps. Inside. Clint grabbed the emergency radio and whispered coordinates to someone. Just as the door was about to be forced open, a deafening noise outside distracted the intruders. A black chopper hovered overhead. A secret ally Clint hadn't spoken to in years had answered his call. The files were extracted. The stream was saved. But what Clint didn't know was that someone from Jacob's past had already leaked the final piece of the puzzle, one that would bring down more than just a corporation. The next morning, the world woke up to chaos. Truth Launch was trending globally. The leaked files weren't just blueprints. They exposed decades of unauthorized surveillance, political manipulation, and a secret AI project that had quietly tracked millions. News anchors trembled reading the documents. Lawmakers scrambled. Clint and Jacob were nowhere to be found. But then, in the middle of a live broadcast, Clint appeared on screen, calm, composed, and holding a single envelope. "This," he said, "is proof that power unchecked will always find a way to silence truth, unless we fight back." Behind him, crowds gathered, protesters, engineers, whistleblowers, people Jacob had inspired without even knowing. Clint handed the envelope to a reporter and walked away. That night, the bill to restrict corporate AI control passed unanimously. Jacob's name became a symbol of courage. And Clint? He vanished again, until weeks later, when a photo surfaced. Him, teaching a group of young students about ethics and innovation. If you had the chance to spark a revolution, would you take it?